President Trump is still speaking at the final rally of the midterm season in Missouri tonight. And make no mistake, in addition to elections in all 435 House districts across this country tomorrow, it is a test of Trumpism. No matter what he may say on Wednesday, the president has been on the trail for days saying a vote for blank, fill in the local candidate, is a vote for me. Our national political correspondent Steve Kornacki at the big board tonight, where he'll be tomorrow night and probably into the morning. Steve, folks want to know where this stands.
Yeah, and so we've talked so much about the House side, and one of the things we've seen on the House side is the polls in the individual races in the final days. They do seem to be moving in the Democrats' direction. Now, the polls can be wrong. They can miss things, so we will see what that leads to tomorrow. But we did want to say, well, if the House does end up moving at the last minute in the Democrats' direction, does that bring the Senate back into the picture? We've talked about the long path there for Democrats. So let's just take a look at that. It's a possibility tomorrow. We can put it like that. Let's see what it would take for Democrats. So what you got here is sort of the battlefield. We got two that we think are sort of toss-up states, but the polling in each, in New Jersey, you mentioned earlier, Bob Menendez, the Democrat, double digits ahead there. In North Dakota, the Republicans, we've had polls with them double digits ahead. So let's put those in those respective party columns for now. And let's take it sort of in the order it's going to come in the night and just give you a sense of this. Look, Indiana is the first state that's going to close. Trump won the state by 20 points. Joe Donnelly's trying to defend it. Look how close Republicans start in terms of coming to 50 seats. So right away, this is a must win for Democrats. Joe Donnelly must win in Indiana. Florida's going to close at 7 o'clock. Again, same category for Democrats. That's Bill Nelson must hang on there. He's led by a couple points in the late polls, but they're going to need Indiana, Florida. Now you come to Tennessee. This one gets interesting. Democrats still have some hopes here. They think Phil Bredesen, very popular personally. The polling, maybe it's coming a little closer toward the end of this race. For now, put that in the Republican category, and you can see it puts the Republicans on the cusp of 50 just by getting Tennessee. West Virginia, Manchin's been running ahead. He better hold on for Democrats' sake. Then you get to Texas. Texas, we're going to start getting numbers about 8 o'clock Eastern. If Beto O'Rourke cannot pull a surprise there, and Tennessee's already gone, I mean, North Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, that right there would be 50. That could be the end of the night there. But let's say the Democrats succeed in shaking one of these loose. Let's just say it's Texas for the sake of argument right now. Let's say they're able to put that in their column. That would change the game, because then at that point, if Claire McCaskill could hang on in Missouri, she leads in our final poll there. If Tester could hang on in Montana, scant polling there, but he's led in what we've seen. And then Arizona, Nevada, these two Republican-held seats. Sinema, the Democrat, is led in our poll there. And Nevada, that's Dean Heller, that's Jackie Rosen, polling very even there. If Democrats ever got that one, that would be 51. That is an awful lot to ask for if you're Democrats. This is by no means a prediction it's going to happen. But we talk so much about the House. In terms of suspense on the Senate side, I think you see it. Between Tennessee, Texas, you got to see a surprise there for tomorrow night for Democrats. And then everything has to go their way after that.
Well put, and that's why we make the states so they can slide back and forth between the categories.
Yeah. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.